after teaching animal acupressure around the globe for over 30 years, I've realized that there are some misconceptions that a lot of people have that get in the way of them starting with elemental acupressure. Now, I don't want you to miss out on the power of this incredible method just because you have these misconceptions. So today, I'm going to be breaking down the 5 basic misconceptions that animal professionals tend to have about studying 5 element acupressure and adding that to their services. And by the way, if you are a non-animal professional, but you're considering starting a career with animals, this applies to you too, because whether you're adding elemental acupressure to your existing services or starting a whole new career, this method is just too powerful and too fun and too absolutely wonderful for animals for you to miss out on. So let's dive in to learn about those misconceptions so you can get to all the fun. So myth or misunderstanding number 1 is that acupressure is just kind of a recipe formula of points to press in order to solve problems. Now, don't get me wrong. I love simple kind of first aid acupressure that is kind of like a recipe, like this point is for a horse's colic or that point is for a dog's back pain, because it's great. It's very accessible, it's open to everybody, and it's just a great thing to have in your toolkit as a way to help animals. But if you're an animal professional, you want to go deeper. You want something more, something that really serves your practice and whatever it is that you do with animals. So while it's nice to have like the equivalent of kind of like the aspirin in your medicine chest that, kind of solve some quick problems, you want specific solutions that really go to the core and help animals on a deeper level. Now, 5 element acupressure absolutely does this. So if you've only read like a magazine article that says use this point for that, you're missing out on the real true nature of a much more sophisticated and much more complete practice of acupressure. 5 element acupressure allows you to go really beneath the core, the surface of things. So instead of just kind of looking at symptoms and doing symptom relief, which, is great, it's fine, no problem there. But if you're able to go beneath and really look to the core driving causes of what is going on in an animal, really seeing those foundational or constitutional patterns that are there through the 5 elements and all the wisdom that comes from classical East Asian medicine, you have something much more powerful. Now, that might not really be kind of all that accessible to someone who, they're just trying to help their animal and do a couple points, but that's fine. You're not that person. You are an animal professional and you want that kind of that next level, something that really makes a difference for your practice. So if you've kind of dismissed acupressure because it looked too simple, let me tell you, acupressure is profound. In fact, it is so deep and so endless that it can keep you interested and fascinated in it for many, many years to come. But it starts by being pretty accessible. So it's that nice kind of sweet spot between entrance being pretty easy, but then it opens up and just offers so much depth and richness that will absolutely transform your practice. So, while the first misconception was about acupressure being too simple, there are plenty of people who are actually on the other side of things. They think acupressure is too complicated to even start with. But here's where it gets a little controversial. And I apologize if I'm stepping on some toes, but I'm just going to say it because I've heard it so many times in my career, it just needs to be said. And that's that maybe it didn't have the best teacher. There are some incredible animal acupressure teachers around the world, and I've met some of them and just loved what they are sharing with the animal community, which is great, right? But I have also encountered a lot of people that come to our program and want to study from our certification program. And they kind of talk about how where they learned it before made it seem so complicated, like it didn't kind of come together. It didn't really make sense to them. And they thought the problem was in them as the student. Let me tell you, it's not. Five Element Acupressure is rich, it is nuanced, it is complex, to be sure. And there is a certain level of academic learning and sophistication that comes with the practice of this incredible method. But it doesn't have to be complicated or confusing. Really, it doesn't, I promise. So what we love about it is that if you have a really good teacher, you'll find that everything opens up and you can just kind of step by step build the foundation of your skills and your understanding and be able to tap into all of the wonderful ideas, concepts, and support that comes with this method. So I understand that teaching these complex methods maybe isn't easy for some people because it is complicated in kind of communicating it. But the application of it to getting in and doing it when you've had really good support from people that love to share it, well, it's easier than it looks and easier than it seems. So if you've stumbled in a program that maybe wasn't what you had hoped, it didn't really open everything up, I'd like to suggest that maybe you just need a different teacher, and that's okay. We all have teachers that we connect with that really are our people that have, teaching styles that match how we learn. But please don't be kind of turned away or intimidated by Five Element Acupressure thinking that it's you, that you can't get it. It's just not true. When you get the teacher that really breaks things down, let me tell you, we hear again and again and again. People say, oh, I'm so glad we came and studied from you in your certification program because it's absolutely fairly easy. It's clear and it's absolutely learnable. So if that has been holding you back, know that there is an answer for it. But there are other misconceptions out there as well. So let's keep going. Okay, when we get to myth number 3, this is something I am very passionate about talking about. And that is because some people feel like acupressure, because there's an energetic aspect to the practice, that it is too woo or too magical. Now, I will say that sometimes when you're touching an animal, it feels magical. That's because maybe you touch a point and an animal just kind of melts into this happy acutrance of pleasure, which is great. That is a wonderful thing. But if you're a little kind of not so sure about this energy work or any of that, just understand that all of it is backed up by science. In fact, there are so many studies proving that acupressure works on mammals, from mice all the way up to us humans, that the WHO actually supports the use of point work for over 60 conditions, everything from mental health conditions all the way up to, digestive complaints and back pain, carpal tunnel, you name it. It's probably been tested, and we will be happy to share some of those studies in some of the future videos. But just to give you that first taste of thing, I want you to understand that if you're afraid of things being too woo or too magical, something that actually sounds pretty fun to me, but kind of does scare off some people, I want you to understand that our primary energy work teacher is actually someone who studied at the prestigious Northwestern University in Chicago, and actually his major was biology and math. So this is someone who understands the scientific mindset and can really come and break things down in a way that is kind of clear, methodical, and practical, while still tapping into all of the wonder that this work with Qi involves. So if you've ever questioned whether the energy work aspect or the Qi aspect of the Five Element Acupressure is kind of scary or something that maybe you can't even do, just understand First of all, you do not need to be intuitively gifted. You don't have to have some magical sixth sense in order to do it. Absolutely not. In fact, you do not even need to believe in energy, because it works in any situation. Like I said, it's been proved by science. So if that's holding you back, it doesn't have to. But let's look at the next myth about 5-element acupressure. So if you've gotten past those other misunderstandings, you may be wondering how acupressure might fit into your professional practice and think acupressure is only for those who want to set up an acupressure practice. But I'm here to tell you that 5-element acupressure is actually an incredible resource for absolutely any practice, service, or way that you help an animal. So let's talk about that a little bit. So for example, if you're a body worker, let's say you do kind of a sports massage or masterson, osteopathy, it really can be anything with animals, doesn't matter. You can easily kind of weave in some point work as well as the insight that you get from the 5-element constitutional assessment. And so that's a pretty understandable way. And the body workers usually say, yeah, it'd be easy to add the acupressure points into the system that I'm already using. But it's not only the body workers that can benefit. What we see again and again, our classes are full of trainers, vets, vet techs, shelter workers, dog walkers, animal care workers of all sorts of types, because they understand that not only can the acupressure bring, pain relief and better behavior and, all sorts of very practical things there, but we can also use the 5-element system to help us understand the animals in our care better. So if you need to understand behavior better, if you need to understand an animal's learning style so that you can adapt how you train them to their learning style for just better results. If you're looking to understand the deeper driving causes of health issues, all of these are included in this system with the 5 elements. It allows you to dive deep to understand the underlying patterns in an animal's health and wellness and behavior and really get to the root so that you can make a difference at the core. This creates long-lasting change, and it gives you a way to also communicate with your clients about these things, because telling them a little bit about the 5 elements is not only fun for your clients, it will bring great clarity. So it really doesn't matter what you do with animals. You can always integrate this kind of insight into the work that you do. So we have only one remaining kind of stumbling point for people around studying acupressure. Now that we have broken down all of these misconceptions about learning 5-element acupressure, there is one final thing that we have to talk about. And that is you thinking that you don't have time to study this acupressure and add it to what you do with and for animals. Because it's just not true. The incredible thing about learning 5-element acupressure here at Elemental Acupressure is that by learning online in our very adaptable system, you are able to do it in your time, in your way. We've had some people that rush through the program, really focusing on every little bit of it and doing nothing else for 4 or 5 months and come out on the other side with a full certification. That is absolutely one way to go if that's an opportunity for you. But we have a lot of people that spread it out over 2, 3, or even 4 years, just doing tiny bits when they have the time. And we have the support system that will keep you on track and keep you moving towards your goal and that certification. Everything is online and everything has a lifetime access, which means you go at your pace and make it work for your life. But you know that this 5-element acupressure adds so much to your practice. Don't wait until you have the time. Just putting in these little bits of time on a regular basis and will help you with that structure absolutely gives you that additional insight, that additional skill, this amazing way to communicate to your clients about the animals that are in your care, and basically boosts and nourishes your business in so many ways. You will be so glad that you went forward. You can make all of this work for you and your time schedule and still get the results that you need. So if you think that there are any other misconceptions that you need busted, come and tell me about it, because I would love to know what keeps you from adding this incredible ancient system to your care for the modern animal. We know that it changes lives, and we would love to see how we can help you do the same for the animals in your care.